Hi, today we're going to do a piece about first and third person narration. So you'll need a piece of paper and something to draw with. And I want you to think about your favorite place. You can choose somewhere that you'd like to go on summer vacation or just somewhere that you've been any time in your life that was your favorite place. So my favorite place that I chose for this drawing is a place that has a lake and mountains around it, and so that's what I'm going to be drawing. If yours is different than mine, then you can do what I'm doing but adapt it to yours. So I want everyone to draw a vertical line down the middle of your paper. Just start at the top and go all the way down. Okay. Next, we'll decide which side is going to be third person and which one will be first person. So remember, third person narrators in a story, that's when you're telling about the character. You're talking about she or him, and then first person is when the character is the one telling the story. So they're saying I or we. So for third person, I'm going to draw myself as if I'm looking at myself. So here is the end of the pier. So I'm at the lake and I'm going to draw this pier sticking out. This is where I'm going to be sitting right here. So if I'm looking at myself, I'm going to see my face, my hair, and then here I am sitting. I'm going to be sitting kind of leaning back on my arms. So I'm going to have my two arms coming down the back like this with the end of my sleeves, and then I'll have my my hands. So I've got my fingers kind of spread out like this, supporting me, and then I'll have, you can see kind of my back coming down here, and then we'll have coming around, we'll show my legs coming out like this. So I'm going to be sitting with my legs stretched out in front of me. And let me make my shoulder here. Okay. So here I am sitting on the end of the pier. I guess you can kind of, it's like you're seeing me from above kind of. And my head's turned out to this side like this. So I'm looking out here, and this is where the sun is setting out here. So I like to go out and look at the sunset. Here's the water. This is the pier floating on the water, and then we have the mountains. This is a really pretty place. And then this is where I'll do the sunset. Okay, so when I come back to color, those are some of the things I'll color in. I'm actually going to have myself resting here on a towel because sometimes that's what I like to do. Okay, it actually kind of looks, the way I'm drawing this, it kind of looks like I'm doing exercise and putting my legs up in the air, which is also something I like to do on that pier. So that will work. Okay, then, so this is third person. It's like I'm telling a story about me, and so I would say the girl was sitting on the end of the pier looking at the water and the sunset. Third person. First person, I'm going to draw the same thing, but from my perspective if I was sitting there. So I wouldn't be able to see my whole self, but I might be able to see my feet. Right? So I'm going to draw the ends of my legs sticking up, and then I'll draw my feet here, just like I had them in this part of the picture, but now I can see them close up. And then look, I would see the end of the pier here, and I would see the same thing looking out. I would still see the water and these mountains. And the sunset. Okay, so here is my drawing. Now, I am looking at the way I drew this, and I'm realizing that I should have put my legs leaning out this way if I wanted it to look like they were laying flat on the pier. So we've got my exercising feet in this one, and these can be my exercising feet over here. So I had to kind of change it because I made a mistake here. And if that happens to you, you can do the same thing. All right, so this is my drawing. Oh, and I'm going to draw some waves out here too. Just a few ripples. That shows that this is the water. Okay, I'm going to sign my name for my drawing, and then I'll make a copy so I can color and show you what I'll do with that. So today I'm using crayons, and you are welcome to use crayon as well, or any other thing that you have that you'd like to use. And hopefully when you did your picture, you got two different versions of the same picture, so two different points of view. All right, so my coloring is going to look pretty similar on both of these, but it's just two different viewpoints. So art can be really interesting that way because we don't always have to show things in one perspective. Sometimes with art we can combine different perspectives into the same piece of art. And today we did it by cutting it in half, but there's other ways that artists have done that as well. So sometimes if you look at art and you see, hey, it looks like this part is looking from one direction, but that part's looking from a different direction. You can tell that they mixed up the different perspectives. Alright, so I have my little yoga pose here, where I've got my legs looking like they're straight up in the air. So I'm gonna do, let's see, we'll do some dark blue. I have a lot of blues here. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's good. So here I am, and I'm trying to match up, I want to match up my colors so that the viewer can tell that I did this on purpose, that I have two different viewpoints going. And usually with a lot of books that I've read, a lot of times the book chooses one type of narration, either all third person or all first person, but there can also be books that have both. So maybe one chapter is written by a character telling their story, and then the next chapter, maybe it goes back to a narrator that we don't really ever see, but we just hear from them. And then, so there, and then some books have different characters speaking in each different chapter. So there's all kinds of different points of view that you can write about or draw about. So in my first picture, this person almost is looking down like they're in the sky, looking down at me, because it would be hard for a human to be standing up this high and to see me looking that small. So that's a lot of times the way that it feels when we have a third person narrator. It kind of feels like they're just there in the sky floating around, and they just see and know everything that's happening. They know what people are thinking, but we never really see them. And a lot of art, sometimes we do art that way as well. We just show like as if someone can see everything in the whole picture, and that is one way to do it. Then, So the next time you look at a piece of art, look and see if you can tell where the viewer or like the person who's seeing it is standing. For example, in this one, we said that the person's probably up here in the sky somewhere where they can see the person and the lake, all of this together. This one, you can tell that it's probably me looking because you can just see my feet, either me or someone who's standing really close to me, behind me. So the perspective from where a drawing is made can add extra meaning and clues to our art. Something maybe we don't think about as often because we just draw what we see, but if we switch the perspective around, then it gives us different information. Remember, with crayon you can blend the colors by layering it. So I'm going to, for my sunset here, I'm going to kind of go back and forth over the different colors to layer it like that. Also remember that you are always free to take a break during this video since you're at home and you can manage your own time there. You can pause if your hand starts getting tired or if you just need to go do something else for a minute, and then you can always come back to finish your coloring later. You might be thinking of extra details you could add later, and you can come back and add those. So you can always revisit your art and do more things to it to make it even more detailed, and you can add more things than what I show you even. You can take as much time as you want. That is one really nice thing about distance learning, is you can take as much time as you want. I know some students are really liking that. Okay, so now the water and the mountains. So the neat thing about the mountains is that they look kind of blue from where I'm sitting in these pictures because they're far away. Sometimes when objects get farther away in the distance, like really far, like mountains, they start to look blue just because of the way the light and the shape of the earth work together, and the atmosphere. So it just gets a little cooler looking, cooler color. We usually see the cool colors in the distance in paintings because cool colors recede, like they back away when we're looking at them, and warm colors come closer to us. So that's a trick you can use when you're coloring things and you want to make it look far away or close up. If you use cooler colors when it's far away, it helps it look like it's farther. And if you use warm colors up close, then it helps it pop out and makes it look closer to you. For the water, I'm going to mix in some different blues. This water is really so pretty at the real lake. I just love it. It's got a lot of different shades of blue, and it's just so different each time you look at it. It has, sometimes it's calm or wavy, and depending on what the sky looks like, it sometimes has different colors in it. So since this is sunset right here, I'm actually going to have some of the sunset reflected in my picture. And this is a place I love to go in the summer. It's getting closer to summer, and I bet you're getting excited for some of the things that you'll get to do in the summertime. I hope you are. Especially as some of our things that have been closed start opening up whenever that happens. I don't know when it will be, but that will be kind of fun to go back and visit some of those places. So in my water, I'm trying to make it look like these are waves and the sunset is reflecting on the water and hitting some of those waves. I'll just mix in some blue, some extra blue here. Remember to have something under your page so you can go all the way off the page. One thing I really like about crayons is how you can control them pretty easily. You can control how light or dark they show up, and they're not very messy. They're just so easy to either push harder on and make it really bright and bold, or to do it softer so you can blend a little bit easier. I think they're a lot of fun to use, so hopefully you're enjoying that if you're doing some crayons. Okay, so there's one more neat thing about these mountains, and that is that, like I was telling you, they get a little bit cooler colors as they recede. And actually, in this little mountain range right here that you can see from the pier, it gets like lighter as it goes in, because these some of them are getting farther and farther away. So I'm going to draw that. So making them a little more bold here on the outsides, because those ones are a little bit closer. They kind of overlap and come in front of these in the back, and then those fade away into the distance back there, like that. So we have our third person and our first person narration, just side by side. It's a simple way to change our normal view on a picture plane to break it in half and do two different views in one piece of art of the same thing. So both are happening at the same time. It just depends on where you're standing. Hopefully it was fun for you to think a little bit about summer vacation and what you're excited to do. Thank you so much for drawing with me today, and have a great day. Bye.